So I just have a few questions about yourself, about your background and how it applies to other skills. So we'll just get started. So what is
Let's
it
do it.
exactly that you do?
Yeah, so I'm a podcaster, content creator. I've been podcasting now for almost 17 years. So this is like the time where there was no smartphones, way back in the days. But as a content creator, I've been doing that since 2001, just blogging and also internet radio back then. So that's what I do. I interview a lot of developers, people that in the industry about the games. We talk about news, review games, and everything. So yeah, that's what I do. We release 2 episodes every week.
Wow. And you were like a trailblazer for a lot. I mean, you started podcasting before it was cool. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the history goes way, way back when I was a little kid. My dad was a radio DJ, and he would just DJ also locally in his town and everything. And I was just super curious about radio ever since a kid. So I would mess around with his radio equipment, his DJ equipment, speakers. I even actually punched a speaker from one of his friends, and I got in trouble for that. so that's one. And then fast forward, I was always involved with music. When I was in high school, I used to promote for a lot of music labels and major artists that are big now too, way back in the days. And then it was in 1998 I found this radio station, but online. It was called 88 Hip Hop. This is from a company called Pseudo. It doesn't exist anymore, but Pseudo was like the first audio and video streaming service where people could go and listen to like different shows, talk radio about music, entertainment, etc. So I found an artist there that I like, and he was just doing an interview. He was freestyling the hip hop scene and everything, and I was like, oh, I want to do the same exact thing. So I tried to do that back then to create a radio station in 1998, but technology wasn't there. It was so expensive. I was broke, back then. I was like, there's no way I'm going to do this. So fast forward 2001, this is where Sega Dreamcast was already out. So they had this game that's from Japan. It's an online game called Fantasy Star Online. So I discovered that game, and I loved the community so much that I was like, I'm going to do a radio show all about this game. So I used to record everything on cassette because, again, I was broke. I didn't have the equipment to do it. So I recorded interviews and content using my tape recorder, and in real time, I will convert that into MP3 and put up the final version of the show on this website called mp3.com. mp3.com at that time was for music artists. So let's say you're an artist, I listen to your music, you get paid out of that. So I said to myself, wait a minute, it's free hosting. And if I put my show there, people could stream it and listen to it or download it, I would get paid. So my first check in 2001, because of my radio show, was $500. So I was like, all right, I got to start a business out of this, etc. So I started doing that just locally. I would go to events and just do interviews like that. And then 2 months after 9/11, Microsoft and Nintendo, they were in town promoting their products. They were promoting their new console that was coming out at that time. It was the original Xbox and the Nintendo GameCube. So I went to the Xbox event with my video camera and also a tape recorder, and I just started interviewing people that were at the event, etc. And then it was a 40-hour competition, by the way. I forgot to mention that. So whoever wins, they get a free trip to Cancun, get a free Xbox, free car. They were giving a bunch of prizes. So I tried. I completely failed. and then at the end, they surprised us with Xbox console for us. So they sent me that before it came out. And then I went to the Nintendo GameCube event. Same thing. I recorded people that were there. I interviewed Nintendo. And then at the end of, after that, I get a call from Microsoft and they say, Danny, we're going to have a launch event in Times Square where we would love for you to talk about a console because you got it early so you could talk to the media. I was like, all right. So I showed up, and this was right after 9/11. So a lot of places were still not 100% open. So Microsoft had to get permission from the city of New York to have the event there at Times Square, the Toys R Us Times Square. So I showed up, and when I started talking to my friends, Microsoft put us to the side, and they were like, "All right, Danny, we want you to play video game with Bill Gates. The media's going to be there asking you questions about the console. Just talk to them." And I was like, "What?" I wasn't even prepared. I didn't know that was going to happen. But because of all those opportunities that came up, it inspired me to create Gamertag Radio a couple years later. That's what the show that I have now, which is already almost 17 years old. So yeah, so that's how I started with internet radio back then. I was just super inspired, and I just love talking to my community.
Wow, that's remarkable, man. I mean, you turned your passion into your profession.
Yeah.
All from, and you got to play. Did you say you played video games with Bill Gates?
Yes, with Bill Gates,
How,
which is
how,
insane. He's not
what
a
were you
great
guys
player. He
playing?
was,
Like, how was he?
yeah. We were playing this game from the original Xbox called Fusion Frenzy. It was like a
I know
party game
Fusion
similar
Frenzy.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like Mario Party, like that. So we play that. I mean, he's not a great player, but just having that experience there, and even talking to the original team that worked on the console, that was special to me. Really, really cool. I felt awesome that day, man. It was super cool. And yeah, we just stay in touch, and I always been in contact with Xbox since like '01. So now I always getting opportunities with them for content opportunities. I'll get to play games early. They'll send me console early. Like last year, I got the Xbox Series X like
Yeah.
over a month before it came out. So I had it at home. I created a lot of content because of networking and just going to events and everything. So, and I also interviewed the head of Xbox. I interviewed Phil Spencer. This year I interviewed Reggie Fils-Aimé, which he used to be the president of Nintendo of America. He retired a couple of years back. And Keanu Reeves back in December for Cyberpunk 2077. This past Monday, I interviewed Giancarlo Esposito. He is the main villain of the new game Far Cry 6. So I've been doing all that stuff, and I started when I was a very young age, just wanted to create content. And look, now I'm interviewing like a bunch of big people, man, and not only in gaming but in every industry, music, movies. So it's awesome.
I mean, you tell me about your like evolution of your career, and it makes me think like, what does your gaming system or setup even look like? Like with your older, like the original Xbox, like is that still set up or is that tucked away into boxes?
No, well, yeah, it's crazy because back then, again, I didn't have a lot of money, so I had the original Xbox, and then I wanted to get the new Xbox 360. So I had to trade in my console to get that because I didn't have the money,
Yeah.
And then, but it's crazy because I also got invited to go to the Xbox, all the Xbox events. I've been to every single one of them. And like now, like I'm getting the Nintendo Switch OLED from Nintendo, So I have a lot of cool stuff, that I have saved. Like I still have my original media badge that they gave me back in 2001 from Xbox. I have that. My fiance, she has like a lot of old school consoles. So she has like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, original Xbox, Dreamcast, PlayStation. So yeah, we collect stuff. Right here in the background, you see Nintendo Switch and Xbox, and here I have the Xbox Series S. So this is where I stream, and over there is where I play and just play games.
Dude, that is so awesome. And it sounds like, I mean, you've had such a growth from when you started to where you are now. Are you from New York originally?
Yeah, I'm originally from New York City, born and raised there, uptown Manhattan, the Washington Heights area. So
Yeah.
for those who know, so yeah, I lived there for years, but I also lived in Dominican Republic for a couple of years. But
Okay.
during my high school years, I lived in Miami, Florida.
Oh,
I was
wow.
there, living there for my dad lives there. My mom lives in New York still. But when I was there, I was just hanging out with my cousins. That's how I got into the music industry in Miami, Florida, and I lived there for a very long time. And then I went back to New York, and now, just last year, I moved to Los Angeles. So I've been getting a lot of opportunities over here too.
That's awesome, man. I want to switch gears here. I know recently you were in one of our ads made by our friends over at Celsius. You want to tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They were like, "Hey, Danny, we want you to create a video, the same thing that you do on Twitch, like just the reaction of you playing a game or test playing a game for the first time." I'm like, "Sure," and I did it. I sent them like I think it was like a 2-3 minute video, just me saying things, oh, like love this game.
Yeah.
And I sent to them. I had no idea how the video was gonna look like the final version. But I then they showed it to me. I'm like, oh my god, this is really cool, really professional. Love it. And at the same time, it's seeing up and coming developers in gaming, just creating games and everything. I think it was really cool message. Just love it overall.
Yeah, man. No, we really appreciate you, taking the time to be in it. What is it what do you know about RimCAD, or Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design?
Yeah, the only thing that I know, I know that they show a lot of the like game development, design, and everything like that. So that's the only thing I know, honestly. So I've never been there, I've never been to the area actually. So I would love to visit one day and just see it. Because one of the things that I love to do is do a lot of speaking engagements, talk to students or just people that are curious about not only content creation but also game development. So one story I did a couple years back. I went to Dominican Republic with my friends she works at Unity, um, and she's always doing workshops for people how to create games using their engine. So I did a free workshop in Dominican Republic because I just want to inspire people. One of the last thing that they said to me, even before I went to the event, they said that they feel left out, and there's a lot of people probably across the country that feel left out. They don't know where to go, like when it comes to them creating content or creating games, and whatever I could do to help out and give back. That's something that's one of my passion, honestly.
That's
So
awesome, man. And just from your own perspective, what makes like having the skill set as a game designer or animator, like what makes those skills unique?
unique. Well, for me, what I like to do is I want to see just new stuff. I love when people create stuff that is original. They just came from them. It's cool to be inspired from other games. But I love to see new content, new type of gaming experiences for me. Uh, like I've seen games from all type of developers, from big and small, that gets my attention. I'm like, oh my god, I love the music, I love the experience. I feel like I'm part of the game. I love puzzles. I love um, just challenges too. It helps me to just relax and figure things out, without going online and searching for like tips and tricks, because I don't do that at all. But that's the thing that I love to do is just I love to get new experiences from everyone, man, because everybody's gonna have new ideas and stuff like that. So like, look, even a simple game like Tetris, that is one of my all-time favorite games, and it came out way back in the 80s, and still to this day I play Tetris, different versions of Tetris, but I just love that it's fun, could play with the family, very challenging. I could play with other people, battle online and stuff like that. So it doesn't have to be all about the graphics. It's more of just the experience of all. It could be more with the music side. It could be a game that's like 8-bit, 16-bit graphics, and you still will have fun. At the end of the day, it's just the package overall is what matters to me.
You bring up a great point. And I mean, as you mentioned, you're a podcaster, you're a content creator, you're almost like a journalist in some way, like as a storyteller. How do your skills as a video game player and really ambassador translate over into other areas?
Other areas of like as like content creators, or just
But just in
games in
general,
general?
like,
Yeah.
like whether it's music or writing or anything like that.
hmm Yeah, one thing that helped me, because when I was a kid, I was very shy. Like I would not go on stage when they will call me. I'll be like, nope, nope. Like I was super shy, talking even to girls. I'll be super, super shy about that. But I realized that sometimes when you have that big opportunity, you just gotta go for it, no matter what. So I think for me as a gamer and also as a content creator, it helped me to be less shy and more vocal, not only online but even in person. I've done speaking engagements, over 1,000 people at the event, and it was because of gaming and content creation that helped me so much. And at the same time, I like to do presentations that will make people think and just talk about it for years after I'm done with the presentation. Like, I just love doing that. And I feel like people could do the same exact thing with when they've developed a game. I played games when I was a kid, and still to this day, I have that still stuck in my head. Like, oh my God, remember those days I played this and this and that. That was a cool moment. Just the music and the boss battle. So I think people could do something like that with not only with games, but also when they create content or even movies or even music in general. Um, like I said, it's just being part of that experience, so that to me, what matters most.
I could feel like the passion and the way you talk about it and your journey. And I mean, as you know, someone in your platform, you inspire other artists. And, with that, like, what advice do you have for like current students, whether they're game art majors, animation majors, or just artists about, blazing their own trail like you did?
Yeah, I just got to keep on going. I'm not saying that everything was perfect for me. I've been to events that I traveled with my brother to Los Angeles with no money, because I wasted all my money in just hotel and renting a car and doing a media kit, because I want people to learn more about my show. And this is the early days of podcasting. So I took a risk and I went there and I was eating dollar burgers for a couple of days because I just didn't have the money. I had to wait until I got paid later that week. But sometime in life, you got to take risk. Nothing is going to be perfect, but at the same time, surround yourself with other people that are passionate with the same thing that you do, or maybe they're passionate about other things that probably will inspire you to keep on going. Once you, let's say for like an artist or someone that makes a movie, show that to other people, take feedback, and don't take it personal. If there's something that they just don't like, it's good to see what other people had to say about your whatever it is that you're working on. At first I would take things personal when I was young, and but now I'm like, you know what? I get it. People are always going to have different opinions, so that's one advice: do not take it personal at all. And another thing too that I would like to say is, don't keep everything as a secret, because that's one thing that I notice about game developers. They just will keep everything as a secret and will not show that to anybody else. They will show it to other developers, right? But the thing is, you need that crowd. There are gamers that are actually going to play your game. Let them see it. I think a lot of developers are just afraid of just showing it because they think people are not going to like it, and it's okay. Not everybody's going to love it, but it's good to put it out there, and maybe this will inspire you to come up with new ideas on things you need to work on. And my last advice is, you have to have fun, because if you're working on something for a very long time and you're not having fun, then honestly, I feel like you're wasting your time. I been doing this now for like almost 20 years, and I'm still feel like the same kid from back then. I'm still having fun. I'm still doing this with my friends. We do a podcast every week, talk about games and stuff that we love. And yeah, we still have fun to this day.
That's special, man. You bring up a good point too, like about not being secretive and being open to critique, not taking it personal. Those are things that I feel like every artist should hear, because that's part of growing and being able to take criticism and things like that. Now, do you have any fun projects or shows or anything in the works that you're able to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, I just recently I interviewed Giancarlo Esposito. He's a legendary movie actor. He's the villain of Far Cry 6. I interviewed him, so make sure to check it out. That interview was a really, really cool interview. And by the way, I woke up really early to record that. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, my time, Pacific time. He was in the East Coast. He was doing a lot of the media tour early in the morning, East Coast time. And they were like, Danny, you sure you could do that at your time? Like, you know what? That's once in a lifetime opportunity. Let's do it. I don't care if it's 2, 3, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll do it. So that's one. This year is the 20th anniversary of Xbox. So I'm also creating content of stuff that I recorded 20 years ago. I'm putting on a show, with my brother. I'm going to have a conversation of like, because he went to the event with me, so we're going to record a podcast about our experience. How was it back then? It's a lot of people that probably never experienced that at all, so that's going to be really cool. And yeah, I'm going to be reviewing a lot of games. Just recently, Far Cry 6, Forza Horizon 5, that's like a racing game, and Nintendo Switch OLED, which comes out tomorrow. I'm getting that also from Nintendo, so I'm going to talk about that. So just things like that, but a lot of games that's coming out this holiday season. I'm definitely going to be talking about that for sure.
Dude, that's so awesome. And I just want to know from your expert opinion, given where things are now with video games, can you describe them, and where do you think the future of video gaming is going to be in the next like 5 to 10 years?
Ooh, back then when I started playing games, and the first console that I ever had was the Atari 2600. My grandmother bought me that, and I remember during that time there wasn't many versions of games. It was just the well-known, like the Ataris, the Nintendos, the Sega Genesis, etc. And now that there's so many different ways of playing games, that's beautiful, because now it will introduce a whole new crowd that have never played games. They could play on their mobile device, on their tablet, TV, cloud gaming, which is awesome too, or just the new consoles that just came out. I think that's beautiful. Now we have so many different ways to play games from any type of console platform. And the thing that I see that is growing more is cloud gaming. So even if you don't have the console, now this is an opportunity for you to play the same games that I played on my regular console, but you could play it on your phone, on your smart TVs, and all you need is just a controller and just play it there. So you don't need the hardware. So I think that's what I think that's going to happen in the future, is just less of the hardware, is more about just the platform. It could be cloud gaming, mobile, etc., console, stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. You see things being like more on the go. And that's something, yeah. So, well, last question here. What does the future hold for Danny Pena?
I'm going to keep on going.
Yeah.
I still feel the same, still feel excited about creating content. Just a couple of weeks ago, Twitch invited me to be part of their Hispanic Heritage Month campaign. So I did like a little promo for them. It's online with other Latino creators, and they put me on the billboard, 3 billboards in Times Square. So it was there for like 10 days. And I went to see it for the first time. And, I got emotional because I said, man, I was here 20 years ago when the original Xbox came out, not knowing what was going to happen 20 years later. But then now I have 3 billboards in Times Square, humongous billboards, just me with my face, and just promoting the stuff that I do now with podcasting. So it's full circle, and I think in the future, I would like to do more speaking engagements. I would like to work with other companies on ways to help up and coming developers in Latin America countries, because I just want to help them as much as possible, because I feel like they definitely need help in any type of way. So I'm going to do that a lot. And also I want to do more of like the behind the scenes production, and give the opportunity for somebody else that's coming. Because I used to work for Discovery Channel back in days, and also for I've done stuff for Telemundo now, create content for them. So yeah, I would like to do more of that stuff too from behind the scenes too. So